Said low-key TV breaking fools off.
What up, my nigga?
Said low-key TV breaking fools off.
This is a Said LOWKEY TV production.
Said low-key TV breaking fools off.
Yeah. You a poppin' fool?
Said low-key TV breaking fools off.
All right, SED TV Sunday conversation out here with Carl Watson. What's going on with you?
No, man.
That's right.
Say no more.
That's right. All right, so let's get into this low riding thing. Tell the viewers how you got into low riding and what was your time frame within when you started and when you got out.
Well, you know the cool thing about it is I started at a real early age. I started at 12 driving. And I had my 47 Chevy. And it was slammed to the ground with scavenger pipes and all that stuff. And then it wasn't lifted because we was talking about the 50s. And then the 60s is when we had Corvette Monzas. And then we used to take the springs out and put wooden blocks in there. And if you had a set of flake headrests, you was really on top of the line. And so from there we went to Pally's and got the cylinders, but we was using them as air. And at that time, they used to be reversed down, hanging down. That's how you knew somebody had something in there, because you see them hanging down. And we used to pump air into them with no spring.
Okay.
Then we started making cups, and then that's when we met old man Al on 8th Avenue and 64. We made him famous because you go over there, you get cut out for $6.
Oh, okay.
And at Pally's, it was $25 for a hookup and all the free hoses that you can get, you know. Then on that, me and my uncle, Dirty Red, we used to line cars up at Al's to cut them. And that's when I started playing with cups and donuts, because Al had one of them old machines that you can draw a pattern on it, and you can follow that pattern, and it cuts the metal on this side with the torch. Cut it out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So we started playing with cups and donuts and flipping around, and then we did a couple of I think it was 60 T-birds where they didn't have no clearance between the frame and the hood, and that's when I started creating cups that sit down with two cups passing each other, where that you didn't need that much stroke to get up correct.
Right.
So yeah, so we've been through it all.
Okay. Kind of wheels were you guys rolling on back then?
Well, Supremes. What was the other ones? They were aluminum, but they were like Mickey Thompson's. And Kenny Stewart was the one that created chrome rims with a spoke hubcap sitting in the middle, so it looked like a deep wire wheel.
Oh, okay.
So that was Kenny Stewart out of Pasadena.
Oh, okay. Out of
And
Pasadena.
Roach in them.
Okay.
Yeah, and Buck and all them, JD. I mean, I can go on and go on.
You mentioned Mazdas.
Yeah, Corvette Monza.
Yeah, Mazdas. What's your relationship with Simeon?
Oh shit, we go way back. Yeah, cause we always had Merle from the Valley. All of us had Monzas, and then that's why I met Ben. Ben teaches college's body shop. He was the one that turned me on to how to sync tail lights and all that stuff. So Corvette Monzas, we were playing with those, and that was in the '60s. There, first part of the '60s, you know, playing with Spider, Dennis. You know Dennis?
Dennis Blackwell?
No, that Dennis, but the other Dan. Oh, Dan, he was tough because he was the only one that had AAA back in the day, and plus had a lowrider.
You said you had AAA back in the day? They had AAA back then? What was it, 60s?
Yeah, and all this was like, Dan, I forgot what year we were in there, but like Bubble with the 56 Buicks, who else? John Hurd and all of them in Compton, Bob Murphy. Oh man, we can go on and go on and go on with all the major players, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. And Murphy still got his 57. You know.
Yeah, I was over Simeon's house. He still got his car too.
Yeah. But we went through so many cars, man. Matter of fact, my buddy Gordy in Pasadena, he gave me 11 cars, and so happened 65 was lifted, the 61 was lifted, and the rest of them was stopped. And my wife didn't like the kids riding around because they were too young to. But I figured they'd hit switches too, you know.
Right.
But she didn't like it. You know? Yeah. So.
What were some of the places you guys?
All the taco places, like all Imperial. We was just all. But see, the cool thing about it, it was more united. You know, you come from all over and you can park your car and sit it and nobody mess with it. You know what I mean? It was more kind of cool than what it is now where they got colors.
Right.
And I don't understand the color thing, you know what I mean? We all from the same spot, you know? Just live in different areas, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Did you guys intermix with
Everybody.
Hispanics also? Hispanics, Orientals?
Yeah, we had,
I heard even the white.
Silver Lake.
White.
Alvin, because Alvin, we ended up, I gave him my 63. No, he gave me a 63 for my 56. He probably still got my 56 hardtop. And he gave me a 63 and we swapped. And so it was a mixture.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't whites, you know, and the Spanish, because I learned a lot. I learned how to do hand folding and stuff, upholstery. Yeah, I do hand folding.
Okay.
When
did the hydraulics come into play?
That was the first part of the 60s. See, they were aircraft parts. They were old used aircraft parts. And we found out about Pallies. Earl's was later on in the game. We were going to Pallies, because see, Pallies, you pay $25, get a Bendix motor, a peanut tank, and all the free hoses you want. And if they want to, they give you a couple of Bendix dumps. You know, them was going to make the noise. But at that time, we was using a cookie sheet. That's what they call the real thin sheet. Mm-hmm. And we would mount a manual dump on there and all the components on there. So if you had any leaks, it wouldn't go nowhere to stay on that tray. Okay. But we never had no leaks, you know.
Right.
So it was pool cars. We started off with pool cars. And then I started messing with Bill Hines. And Bill Hines showed me about using solenoid dumps to use them for the electric doors and the dumps. Because see, the dumps then wasn't they were like a square little dump with a handle on it, and you needed something to pull it. And we was using manual cars, but then we started hooking up electric solenoids to them. So we had to create the wiring and the whole thing.
Okay. Give me a story from back in your time when you was low ride.
Well, that's kind of deep there. that's deep. All the people I hung out, Tiny Tim, Bubble, RT. Oh man, we go back with some people. I mean, you know, real radical, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we were low riders, but you know, we were smooth, but you know. He go real deep. Yeah. Go real too deep for this.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure it's the same as the low riders now, you know.
Yeah.
They got some shit in the closet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that, well, let's just say the culture back then, you said it was, everybody was more together. So it wasn't.
Anybody's house.
It wasn't. You said you could leave your car.
Yeah.
Nobody, you know, mess with it or whatever. Today, slow riders. You know, how do you feel about what's going on with low riding today?
Well, it's cool because they got their own thing. You know, things change. You know, we were just laying and playing. You know, we were just like I cut all the batteries down and just start using 24 volts and keeping it real, you know, keeping it sufficient, you know what I mean? Where I have to do no charging or none of that. And some people are using RV switchover valves to change, you know, to switch over to batteries to charge it and run off it and keep it hot, you know. And that's the kind of what I wanted. My last lowrider was my 65. No, that was the last one that I built, my 65 Riviera. But my buddy Gordy out of Pasadena gave me some more lowriders.
Okay.
And that was later in the game.
Yeah, you was telling me about give me a rundown on some of the years and cars that you had. Can you run that back?
I had my 49 slant back, sunken lights, Cadillac tail lights, lifted front and back. And my wife used to drive it back and forth to Pasadena. At that time, she was my girlfriend, but she used to come get one of my cars and drive back and forth, you know. And all of them was smooth running, and you know.
Okay.
That's like my '56 Chevy, lifted front and back. I'll come down. I get on the Pasadena freeway coming to LA. The highway patrol didn't catch me until I got to the split, the 10. And he looked up on the hood and said, "This cannot be an old motor in this car." I said, "Yes, it is." It was all chromed up.
Right.
And there was a 4-banger up in there. I had a Monty up in there. Lifted front and back. All my cars lifted front and back with either stick shifts, you know.
Right. Okay. All right. You were saying that it wasn't too much hopping going on back then.
Well, you had some people that had some good juice up in there, but we wasn't hopping ours because we respect the bushings and stuff. See, now with the new generation, they probably got Teflon and all kind of stuff. But back then, we had the old bushings, you know what I mean? So, and we wanted our wheels to be in a line and straight where you can take your hand off the wheel and the car runs straight. But with your wheels tucked like this, I don't know how they run because I never drove one with the wheels tucked.
Oh, okay. It's
And then with the batteries in the back, you got 700 pounds of batteries in the back and little 13-inch wheels. I don't know how those ride. Let me tell you something.
It's called roller skating.
Yeah. Oh, I got some skates in there to Sunset party and then come back down to Arlington Double. And be flying and the light change and everybody be flying and people were looking and everybody jump on there and turn around and stop. You know, with the toe stops.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the skating ring on Washington and Arlington. So
you went to the skating ring?
Yeah, I went to that. I was a little bitty, but I remember that skating ring.
What year did you go in the skating ring?
It had to be.
Cause we was going to skating ring in like '59 and shit.
Well, it had to be like right when it was closing. Maybe like I think it closed in like '70s, so maybe like late '70s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We started. The Organ Man used to play. Were you there when the Organ Man?
Nah, they was playing records.
Well, we were one because of the records. Because nobody would skate. They would be in a little ring, hanging out, doing their little moves. And when the Organ Man take a break, then we pop in the music, and then the ring. The next thing we know, the Organ Man was gone. He probably lose his job, but you know, times change. They're like the low rise now. Times change, you know.
Right. You said about Hollywood that you hung out at the. I remember the skating ring in Hollywood.
Yeah. And they had flippers. They had quite a few of them, you know.
So these are the places that you guys hung out with.
Well, Hollywood was the main place until they shut it down.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hung out pretty good there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give me some old school information about lowriding that you might want people to know. Or
well, you know the cool thing about it is, all our buddies had some kind of talent to do with body work, paint. Like you had Puncho and Herman, they did paint. You had William Bryan, you had Carlton, you had all these people that did paint that was black. See, now you don't have as much talent as I see with the new generation. You know, they always looking for somebody to do something, but we had to do it ourselves. See, like I was shaving and cutting and doing all kind of stuff ourselves, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, getting down ourselves. But now it looks like the generation now is kind of like slacking a little bit, you know? but it's a lot of money to be made. Like I tell a couple of partners, I say, man, take a welding class and start putting floors in. You know, because they get like $5,000 to put some floors in, some shit like that. That don't make sense. You know, when I was putting floors in, I drilled holes in them, set them down in there, weld the holes and shaved it clean. You didn't even know how the floor was put together. You know?
Right. Back then, when I was talking to Simeon about this, he was saying, versus today, they did more customizing on cars back then than they do.
Well, you know what? I'm not mad at them because we really screwed up a lot of good cars. Because we shaved the handles off of them, cut the doors, and made them suicide and all kind of shit like that. With the new generation, they still into money. If they pop the hydraulics out, they can still get good money for them cars because they all restored. You know what I mean? But we was shaving them clean, taking the emblems off. We was taking priceless emblems off and running nothing. You know, my 49, it was so cold, I don't even think I had rearview mirrors on that thing. And it was shaved clean and front and back. You know, and Don, Stuttering Don, he was a bad builder too. He passed away, but he was a bad builder too. Don, I can go on and go on. Tiny Tim had the old 37 lifted front and back. Oh man, it's a lot of them.
So I'm hearing, well, I heard some people were front or back, not both.
Well, that's like on motorcycles. You got people buy a big wheel and don't have the rear wheel. You know what I mean? You can't play unless you got both. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to put the lifts in, you got to go front and back. You see what I'm saying? And we created that bridge that go across. You know, cutting the bridge, making the bridge in the back.
Okay. Give me some names.
Matter of fact, I was the first one that had tailgate motors in a lifted car.
Okay.
And I took the tailgates and cut the tanks, weld them together, and put them together. We had two tailgates sitting together in between the cylinders.
Okay. Run me some names of some people that should get credit for doing their craft within lowriding back in your time.
Well, you got Punch on Herman on painting. You got Freckleface Ben on bodywork and paint. You had Larry that was over there on Florence for paint. And oh man, it's so many of them to name. God, there's so many of them to try to remember because a lot of them is gone. And then we, like I said, we had Doc. Doc was a pinstriper, a painter, and
Oh yeah, I know. I
you know Doc.
Yeah, I know Doc. Yeah.
The last place he was at is in Long Beach. Yeah. And I come with Doc, Buck, and all of them. Buck had the '64 Flake, but a lot of those cars was done at Bill Hines.
I heard of Bill Hines.
A lot of side pipes and all that stuff. Because Ben taught me how to do the side pipes and stuff, and sank the lights and shit.
Right. I heard about back in the day, Van Nuys Boulevard. Did you ever creep out to the valley area?
No. We stayed pretty much around L.A. and L.A. to Pasadena. You know, our crew stayed kind of close knit, but we grew. You know, brought other people to our clique. You know, from other areas.
So are you from Pasadena or are you from the LA area?
I was from LA, but then I went to Pasadena in the 60s.
Okay. And what were some spots in Pasadena that you guys were cruising at?
Well, couldn't really cruise out there because you out there with the highway patrol, sheriffs and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So it was hit and miss out there. And plus it took years for me to get a driver license because I was riding so illegal or what. I think I I was about 28 when I got my license.
Oh, well, you got your
Yeah.
28. That's far off. And you said you started at
My girlfriend
14.
At that time, she was come get my, when I be coming off the freeway.
Yeah.
She'd be in a Mustang, not 65 Mustang, and get my low ride, and the police turn the lights on because they know it's me and it's her, and I'm in the Mustang in front of her. You know.
Yeah, that trickeration going on.
Hey, I had about $1,400 worth of traffic tickets, man, for no mirrors, front window tinted.
Well, that's all that custom stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, man. So, you know, it's all good though. You know,
Right.
I wouldn't have changed it. I'd do the same thing all over again.
Right, right. So what year did you get out?
71.
71. Okay. And why did you decide to break away from that?
Because my ex-wife wanted me, well, at that time, my wife, she kind of wanted me to hang, kind of do something different. So one of my top buddies, Kenny Keys out of Pasadena, he said, man, I got a deal for you to get rid of your Riviera for Harley Davis. And at that time, I was already talking to Scotty and well, we was at Porky's. Porky's did the upholstery. That's where I learned a lot of upholstery at work with Porky. And it was Scotty and God, what was the name? But anyway, they had Harley Davidson, and I was in there. They said, man, you need to get a Harley Davidson. Come on, ride with us. So anyway, Kenny came up with the deal with my Riviera for Harley Davidson. It was a Hell's Angel. I got my first Harley Davidson from him. He was a dentist.
Okay.
And it was 55 paying head.
Okay. Now today, a lot of the low riders that I know that was low riding back in the in the 90s.
Right.
Why do you think all of these guys are going motorcycles now?
I think it's like dressing. You know, everybody want Gucci and all this stuff. You know, I think it's like that because a lot of people get on motorcycles shouldn't even be driving. You know what I mean? We lost a lot of people on them too. You know, I've been riding since '71, and just recently, I think about maybe 4 weeks ago, I got hit on mine, and it didn't do no damage because I laid into the car, but some people had to lift it off me. You know, but it's cool. You know. The way they drive in LA now is like everybody want to do donuts, you know, and that's kind of sad because they're disrespecting the highway because we got kids out there,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Just the other day in front of the shop, they tore down the telephone poles, and I was telling them, I said, well, I was standing out there waiting for them to open the shop. I said, man, these cars is crazy. Everybody got loud exhaust, speeding and racing. Everything now is racing. When if you really think you got motor, go to the track. You know, go to the track. Do it safe.
So let's go back in your day. Were there car clubs back then, or was it just everybody just?
You had the men's status. You had the carpet bag. You had plenty of car club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my brother, he was in a car club. You know, yeah, it was plenty of car club.
Okay.
But they were smooth, you know. They were smooth. The Men of Status was really smooth, you know, with Jimmy Grissom, JD, and all them. Yeah, they were really top of the line car club. Pretty much like some of the car clubs now, where you got car carriers. They build cars and they build some nasty looking cars. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to put out there for the viewers to know?
Well, you got car builders like Spank and them. They build some hell of a cars. You got it's so many of them. These youngsters, there's a lot of them that's building some heavyweight cars.
You said Spank
And Scooter in them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Spank, he built some nasty cars, man. They all his cars is nasty, you know. You take time with them, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
If it's
well.
not right, he'll redo it, you know? Yeah.
All right, well. Just any last words?
You know? Keep peace.
Right.
Enjoy, you know? Hey, when you go out to a function, you don't need to be strapped. Just hold it down, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
That's like me. That's why I stay to the sidelines because, you know, it's easy to irritate somebody and they want to blast you. You know, that don't make sense.
Right.
You know, yeah.
All right. Well, this is. I appreciate you taking your time. You got
I enjoy talking to you. Man.
You got your phone ringing.
Yeah, it stay ringing, man. Yeah. Hey, I'm off today and I'm supposed to be cleaning this garage up. Yeah. Oh, it's In-N-Out Burger.
Oh.
Hello. Yeah, hey, but that's all.
That's it. I appreciate you. SED TV Sunday Conversation with my boy Carl Watson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
SED LOWKEY TV breaking fools off.
What up, my nigga?
SED LOWKEY TV breaking fools off.
This is a SED LOWKEY TV production.
SED LOWKEY TV breaking fools off.
Yeah. You a poppin' fool?
SED LOWKEY TV breaking fools off. Yeah.